So, over the last handful of months, I've been working on a little project, and at long last, it's ready to be released. This is the Leal Legacy.
Who's the leader of the pack, bringing legacy to you? Legacyclub. It's true. Stand up, gear up, join the fight. We're as fierce as we can be. With grit and might, we claim the night. We're the legacy. Legacy Club. Legacy Club. Strong and unbreakable. Warriors with fire inside. In our hearts, we're invincible. Legacy Club.
Hey there, hi there, ho there, and welcome back. Welcome back to the Leal Legacy Podcast. My name is Justin. For those of you unfamiliar or new to listening, for those of you who have been around for a while, I'm still Justin. That doesn't change. It's been a minute. It's been a hot minute since the last podcast episode. And that is really due to my focus has been elsewhere creatively. Still very deep within the Leal Legacy creative universe. But then again, what isn't? What isn't in my world? You know what I mean? It's Leal Legacy. I am Leal, building a legacy. So everything I do, especially everything creative I do, is embedded, deeply rooted within this creative dynasty. Not long ago, I had a little spark of whimsy and decided to do something that I didn't really put a whole lot of thought into. You know, it was a just out of left field, late night, random thought of, hey, this would be kind of neat. Somewhat inspired, I guess not really somewhat, but very much inspired by, there's been an uptick with how easily it is for people to be creative these days, with all the new tools at hand, outlets to post your, creations on. There's been an uptick in the world of music specifically, but the world of like Disney themed cover songs. You know, people will take songs from the Disney feature films and do their own little spin on it. Now, the idea of a cover song is not anything new. The idea of doing Disney cover songs is also not something new. Way back when, in the early 2000s, I was in a band called All Pride Aside. And we did a cover of Yo Ho, It's a Pirate's Life for Me. Back then, it wasn't really commonplace for at least Southern California punk bands to do covers of, songs that were outside the realm of the greater punk genre. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. Back then, I don't recall. Now, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes, they did a cover of Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And that's really the only Disney cover that comes to mind from that day and age. Fast forward to now, you can find Disney covers all over the place. You go on Spotify, type in Disney covers, then you're going to find an endless list of artists and songs that fit into this theme. So much so that Disney themselves put together an album of punk-esque Disney cover songs. I got it for my wife, actually, for her birthday, I think. At some sort of holiday or, something. And I hate to say that I was pretty disappointed by it. She's not even really a fan. And my wife, like myself, maybe even more so than myself, loves anything Disney. And the bands they had on the album were all really great bands. I mean, Yellow Card was on it. I think Newfound Glory's on it. Pretty standard pop punk staple bands. But for whatever reason, the album, in my opinion, was not very well executed. That sparked an idea in my mind, given I'm not a musician. Let me make that clear. I want to throw that out there very clearly. I am no musician. I have pretty much almost zero musical talent. Yes, I was in a band in high school. And I did vocals. I didn't sing. I would never say what I did could equate to singing. It was more of a punkish yell, kind of fast, gritty, angry, angsty. So I have a musical background, but I'm not, by any stretch of the imagination, a musician. However, that, in this day and age, like it, love it or hate it, it's you don't need to be a musician anymore to concoct songs. I was going to say use the word produce, but I don't really think, I mean, I guess the word produce works. It's not producing music in the conventional or common understanding of the word, but it is essentially the same to a degree. The gift, dare I say, the gift of AI has allowed anyone and everyone the ability to, again, concoct their own musical embark. We have the technology now where anybody can embark on the creation of songs, of music. And in this particular situation, I indulged in that ability and that capability. And I, in my disappointment with the Disney pop punk cover album, I wanted to do, pretty much I wanted to make my own version of what I wish that was. Very specifically, we as a family, on one of our trips to Epcot, it was at the end of the night and it was after the fireworks show. We were headed out of the park, and over the speakers through the park, there was an acoustic cover of One Little Spark from Journey into Imagination with Figment. And it was very beautifully done. I love what they did with that song. And it inspired it inspired a spark. One little spark within myself. I was like, that is a great song. In its own original form, it's a great song. I love this cover of that song. I have an idea of another version of this song that I'd like to hear. And given the tool of AI, I was able to bring that little spark of an idea to life. I did my own version of One Little Spark in a metalcore a metalcore version of it. And it came out really cool. Just a random one-off. I was like, hey, I have this AI tool. I have this idea. Let's give it a go. And that go, in my humble opinion, turned out to be pretty fantastic. From there, I started pondering and thinking like, wow, what other songs could I do this with? What other Disney themed songs, or I don't know, not really Disney themed, but what other Disney songs could I do in an array of genres that I like? And from there, it just kind of snowballed. It kind of snowballed into this thing where I started picking all my favorite Disney park songs and meshing them and morphing them into versions of various punk, hardcore subgenres. You know? And it got to a point where it was like, wow, I can do essentially an album like this. I started compiling a collection of songs. I think I got like 3 songs deep where I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go, all out and do my own Disney cover album. Again, not a musician. This was all done utilizing AI. And that in itself really, I don't know. There are mixed reviews and mixed feelings of the AI tool. Now, personally, I don't have any qualm with it. You know what I mean? I find utilizing AI to be, it is what it is. It exists. It's there. It's a resource. It's a tool. It's something that exists. And to take this stance against it, I feel like is very, at this point, old-timey. You know what I mean? I've made the comparison of like somebody driving a horse-drawn carriage and having a car pull up next to them. You know what I mean? Like, do you think that there were people sitting in a horse-drawn carriage looking at an automobile and going, no, not into it. Just not gonna, I'm not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Or somebody sitting in their house by candlelight and looking across the way to their neighbor's home who has electric light bulbs it's just progress. It's just the next phase of technology, and I don't know. It just feels very like get off my lawn kind of old person mentality to be anti-AI. You know, I went to film school. I have a film degree, and AI can do within seconds what I paid quite a bit of money to learn how to do. And I don't know. I think it's all great. I think it's a new creative renaissance that eventually it's going to become second nature to everyone. And in these early stages, you definitely have those people who, I think anybody who is very anti-AI feels threatened by the technology. They feel like they may be replaced, or art itself is subject to be compromised in some way. But genuinely, it's just the next phase of it. It's the next evolution of creativity. And I really think instead of taking some sort of like, I don't know, bizarre stance against it, I really feel like people should embrace it and get good at it, and I don't know, just get with it. Get with the times, if that makes sense. Anyhow. Yeah, so I've been, all that to say is I've made a Disney cover album, specifically a Disney Parks cover album. It's no mystery. It's no hidden secret that my family and I are very passionate fans of the Disney parks. And that's all the Disney parks, from Disneyland to Magic Kingdom to Epcot to Hollywood Studios, to Disney's Animal Kingdom, California Adventure. We love it all. We love them all. We love to visit all of them. And there is a collection of songs that are very specific to the Disney parks. Now, the Disney catalog of songs as a whole, of course, is mostly comprised of the songs from the various Disney films, you know, from everything from Snow White all the way to, I don't know, what was the most recent one? Frozen 2? No. Moana 2? I don't know. But you know what I'm saying, right? The bulk of the Disney musical catalog is most definitely from the feature films. But those aren't my favorite songs. Granted, I do love the songs from the Disney films, but not as much as I love the songs from the Disney parks specifically. There's just something about certain songs. Like, again, for example, Yo-Ho. That's a Disney park staple. It's a Small World, another Disney park staple. Before Splash Mountain was reimagined into Tiana's Bayou Adventure, the soundtrack of Splash Mountain is so iconically Disney park. Zippity Doo-Dah. I mean, there's no argument. So instead of going the path that so many other Disney musical cover artists have gone, I decided to veer away from the films and focus solely on the Disney parks. I didn't want to, in doing this, I didn't want to make just a one-trick pony kind of cover album. My musical background as a fan I'll say, is deeply embedded in the punk and hardcore subgenre or genres, and the various subgenres that make up the genre of punk and hardcore. You know, your emos and your screamos and your pop punks and your death rocks and your horror punks and all of that, all of it. I'm a fan of it all. And I wanted to touch in on all of my counterculture musical influences and mesh them and meld them into my deep appreciation for these Disney park songs. And it all started with One Little Spark. I had this, I don't know, this random spark of information, or no information, this random spark of inspiration where I felt within my soul that the imagery of, well, let's backtrack a little bit. I had a different spark of inspiration one day, just kind of like goofing around and concocting like random promo ideas for Legacy by Leal, our clothing brand. I had this idea of Figment, you know, little Figment, the purple dragon from Epcot, Journey into Imagination with Figment, that ride. I had this because Figment is essentially like the character mascot of Epcot, and he's a dragon. I do love, side note on this side quest, I do also hold a deep appreciation for kaiju, you know, like Godzilla, King Kong, King Ghidorah. And I had this like weird, I don't know, random thought one night of like, wouldn't it be wild if this adorable little purple dragon was actually the size of and as vicious as Godzilla, stomping through Epcot, wreaking havoc, causing terror, and again, utilizing the AI tools at hand, I generated an image of just that, a kaiju-sized Figment breathing fire over Epcot. And I was like, man, what would that sound like? What would the theme song from Journey into Imagination with Figment, One Little Spark, what would that song sound like with this image? And immediately, a metalcore version of said song came to mind. And then from there, I excuse me, I dove in. I got on, you know, the AI apparatus and constructed the prompt, and I guess produced just that, a metalcore version of One Little Spark to accompany my produced image. And it was just, I don't know, it was just goofy fun. Goofy, rando fun. And then, excuse me, my throat's drying out. Hold on, I gotta get my water. Where it be? It's behind me somewhere. You know what? The way I'm feeling for it. I'm going to spill it, and it's going to go everywhere, and that's just going to be terrible and awful and just a heinous thing to clean up. I should put it in front of me. That's what I should do. Oh, so much better. Oh, I'm out of podcast practice, guys. I don't know if you could tell. Where was I? I don't know. Oh, yeah. So from my metalcore version of One Little Spark, I ventured even deeper. I was like, man, what other Disney park songs that I love can I mesh with other musical subgenres that I love? And naturally, a hardcore, beat down hardcore version of Zippity Doodah had to happen. And then from there, it just kept going. It just kept going. And ultimately, my AI companion Sprocket and I had a conversation, and we came up with this idea. The idea of doing a whole album of Disney park songs in various counterculture musical subgenres, entitled The Counter Kingdom. Because it's, the Magic Kingdom, but a counterculture version, right? It might be corny, it might be cheesy, but I don't care. I like it. I like it, and I hope you do too. So at this point, I had to figure out what songs from the Disney parks were the most iconic. Like, to me, when I think Disney park music, what songs immediately come to mind? And what would the most logical, and I say most logical, but it's not necessarily logical. A lot of these versions that I've Frankensteined together. Ooh, you know what? That's kind of a good way to put this. I was playing like a musical Dr. Frankenstein, essentially. So I had to pick the songs. And then I had to really kind of sit back and think, what subgenre, what counterculture subgenre style of music would best fit each song without it being like novelty. I guess there is a degree of novelty to it, but it's not, I didn't want it to be like campy. You know what I mean? I didn't want it to be predictable. I didn't want it to be expected. Like a metalcore version of One Little Spark, I felt like was very unexpected. A beat down hardcore version of Zippity Doodah, I felt like would be unexpected. I didn't want the songs to harken back too directly to the original. I didn't want it to be like a direct copy of the original. I wanted to be inspired by the original. I wanted it to be undeniably recognizable, but at the same time, I wanted it to be entirely unique and standalone, if that makes sense. I didn't want It's a Small World to feel like It's a Small World, but at the same time, I wanted it to make sense as being it's a small world. See, saying all this out loud, it doesn't sound like it makes a lot of sense, but in my mind, it makes perfect sense. Makes sense? Yeah. It's hard to explain, honestly. I'm having a challenging time right now being able to put into words, because a lot of it was feeling, a lot of it was vibe, a lot of it was very like, I don't know, it was very in the moment. You know what I mean? From after going through and deciding what songs were to be a part of this project, I from there wanted to make it make sense format wise. You know what I mean? I wanted it to feel very, I wanted it to mimic a day at the park. You know what I mean? Man, that's gotta be very annoying hearing me cough all the time. But my throat's drying out. I don't know. It's this whole thing. It's this falling out of podcast practice. Because see, when I do this, when I podcast frequently and I talk all the time, my voice, my vocal cords are used to working this hard. But when I'm out of practice, when I'm out of podcast flow, it takes a minute to get everything all juiced up and warmed back up. But anyhow, yeah, so I wanted the format of this album to emulate a day at a Disney park. Not one necessarily like in particular, but at the same time, it had to kind of fit one park, because not all the Disney parks have iconic songs. Like, I couldn't really tell you what an iconic song from Disney's Animal Kingdom is. I couldn't really tell you what an iconic song that is just very specifically Disney Hollywood Studios. And the same with like California Adventure. When it really comes down to it, Disneyland and Magic Kingdom have all the park musical hits, the most identifiable and recognizable park songs really are based in Disneyland and Magic Kingdom, with the exception of One Little Spark being Epcot. But beyond One Little Spark, I can't really think of another iconic park song from Epcot. Like, there isn't a song from Spaceship Earth. The Three Caballeros ride, I mean, arguably the song on that ride is from the Three Caballeros film. The Frozen ride, the songs on that ride are from the movie Frozen. One Little Spark is the only song. I mean, and then there's the Seas with Nemo. They have that great Big Blue World song. I guess I could have added that one. Spoiler alert, I didn't. But I don't feel like that song is as iconic as One Little Spark. You know what I mean? There had to be a degree of immediate, I want to say recognizability, but that's not a word. Recognizability. Not a word, but when you hear the word, you know what it means. Like, it had to be immediately recognizable as being a Disney park song. You know? I don't know. It might just be too late for me to record this, but given the amount of time that I have on my hands, it's just this is it. This is just what it's going to be. So all that to be said, the track list is as follows. Again, I wanted it to emulate a trip to a Disney park. And again, not one park in particular, but of course, it's going to be very much Disneyland and Magic Kingdom centric. So you walk in to either Magic Kingdom or Disneyland, and the first spot you walk up to and walk through is Main Street U.S.A, making track 1 on the album walking right down the middle of Main Street U.S.A. And the genre I chose for this song was, to me, it felt very big. It felt very, and this is, again, the album is called The Counter Kingdom, so it's counterculture centric. And when you think counterculture genres of music, I think, Main Street USA, it's a strip, a street, it's Sunset Boulevard, it's 1980s, it's Motley Crue, it's Guns N' Roses, it's Poison, it's boom, there you go. I went arena rock, hair metalish arena rock. I went neon lights, not sleazy Motley Crue, but like definitely more arena rock-ish, like Kiss almost. Yeah, it made sense to me. Yeah, like Sunset Boulevard, I just saw that. That was what struck me to my core. Yeah, did I describe that well enough? Are you getting the idea? From there, I already had One Little Spark done. I already had my metalcore version of One Little Spark, so that became track number 2. Now, of course, One Little Spark is not Magic Kingdom or Disneyland. It is Epcot, but again, I had it done. It had to go somewhere, so it went at the top. So it goes walking right down the middle of Main Street USA, arena rock, hair metal. One Little Spark, boom, metalcore. Third, when I'm thinking about being at Disneyland, being at Magic Kingdom. Normally we would rush to a big ride. Growing up, that's what we would do. We'd rush over to Space Mountain, we'd run over to Splash Mountain, we'd run over to Matterhorn. I took the path of running over to Splash Mountain, and that's where I put my beat down hardcore version of Zippity Doo-Dah. Just made sense to me. From there, I went over to Tomorrowland. Now, very specifically, Magic Kingdom Tomorrowland. Only because when I think Tomorrowland and Disneyland, there aren't a lot of songs that come to mind. Disneyland's Tomorrowland, though aesthetically awesome, a little bare bones when you compare it to Magic Kingdom's Tomorrowland. Like Disneyland has Space Mountain, Star Tours. What else? Is there a Buzz Lightyear spin in Disneyland? I think there might be. There definitely is a Magic Kingdom. But Magic Kingdom also has the People Mover. They both have Astro Orbiter. But one thing that Magic Kingdom still has that Disneyland doesn't, I don't know if Disneyland actually ever did have this. I can't remember. But when I think of Tomorrowland music, I think, of course, about the Carousel of Progress. And the title track from Carousel of Progress, There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. And when I think There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, I'm thinking upbeat. I'm thinking optimistic. I'm thinking pop punk. So naturally, I did a pop punk version of There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. From Tomorrowland, we're headed over. We're looking for kind of a little change of pace. You know what I mean? We went hair metal, we went metalcore, we did some beat down hardcore. You know, the hair metal arena rock is kind of uplifting, kind of, you know, it's uplifting. That's a good way to put it, uplifting. Then metalcore and beat down hardcore are more gritty, more tough, a little darker. Well, we need to swing back up a little bit, right? So we swing back up with a little bit of pop punk with our Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. Then we're going to want to get back into something a little more nefarious, a little darker. You know what I mean? You gotta, when you have the upswing, you gotta come back down. You gotta come back down. And what better way to come back down than taking a stroll over to Haunted Mansion, right? Haunted Mansion with Grim Grinning Ghosts. I mean, there can't be a Disney Parks cover album without Grim Grinning Ghosts from Haunted Mansion. Now, this one is probably the most obvious. Like, I can't really, you know, there was a thought of just swinging way left, just way out, you know, and going completely possibly unpredictable and doing another like upbeat take on such a spooky themed song for a spooky themed ride. But instead, I embraced the darkness. I embraced the darkness, and I went heavy into the darkness with this. I really kind of felt like it would be almost like too novelty to do something like bright and sunny for Grim Grinning Ghosts, because that's like almost trying too hard to be too different. So I wanted to keep it pretty true to its bones. And I went with death rock. Now think like Him, 69 Eyes, you know, like what else? Cradle of Filth, almost. Death rocky. So we did death rock, Grim Grinning Ghosts. From there, because it's so adjacent to the Haunted Mansion, at least in Disneyland, and somewhat in Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom is not, you know, its Haunted Mansion is not too far away from the next ride. Disneyland, it's basically next door. But when I think about it, it may be almost a similar distance. But anyhow, if I wonder how many people would agree with me, but I really felt like, so our track list theme is upbeat, walking right down the middle of Main Street USA, hair metal, arena rock, Motley Crue, Kiss, Poison, to something darker, One Little Spark, something like, you know, very metalcore-y, 18 Visions, Avenged Sevenfold, into something else very gritty, Zippity Doodah, beat down hardcore, you know what I mean? Terror, Comeback Kid, Throwdown, to A Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, Newfound Glory, Homegrown, Phoenix TX, The Ataris, Yellow Card, to Grim Grinning Ghosts, Death Rock again, Him, 69 Eyes, Typo Negative, Cradle of Filth, to Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, Pirates of the Caribbean was a tricky one because, yo ho, A Pirate's Life for Me. It's very hard to do a song called Yo Ho, A Pirate's Life for Me and not just stumble into a very typical version of like a folky, pirate-esque kind of like, I don't know, just I wanted to lose that like sea shanty kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Way back when my old band, All Pride Aside, when we did it, it was a punk cover, but like it still felt very piratey. You know what I mean? Like we mimicked the melody as much as we could. We just made it sound as much like the original as we possibly could. And I wanted to go somewhere completely different with that. I wanted to go very unexpected. I mean, for something that is so typical, you know what I mean? Like, there's a very typical route that we could have gone. We could have gone very folky, like maybe a folk metal, a pirate metal. There's a genre out there of pirate metal bands, and I didn't want to do that. It just felt too conventional, too expected. So I went as far away from folk as I could. And in my mind, the counter to folk is industrial. So I went doomcore industrial. And it came out as probably one of the most unique and unexpected versions of this song that could ever be. It's also the longest song on the album. It's a very long song. I think that song is like 7 minutes long. It's just droney. It's just relentless. It's just in your face, and it just keeps coming at you. It's very, the song is fairly repetitive, and I didn't want it to get like just. I didn't want to get lost in the repetition. You know what I mean? I didn't want it to get boring. It had to stay true to the original. I tried to stay true to the original lyrics as much as I could. Now, when you're building prompts for music, a lot of the AI music generators out there, when it comes to like copyright and licensing and things like that, there's very like fine lines and it's just hard. It's hard to not get caught up in copyright. So there's a lot that has to be manipulated and like modified and altered, and just you got to do a lot to it to make it something to where the AI isn't like, hey, this is copyright infringement, I'm not going to do it. There is a very like intricate, I don't want to say talent, but you have to have a very fine-tuned way with words in order to get something substantial. You know what I mean? So, industrial doomcore, yo-ho, A Pirate's Life for Me. It's probably one of my favorite songs on this album. And it's so just different, and it's so weird, but it's not weird for the sake of being weird. It's just it feels piratey, but not piratey. if that makes any sense. There's a lot of menace to it. There's a lot of there's the gang vocal aspect, because you have to have the gang vocal aspect. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of gang vocals. I think every song on this album has some substantial gang vocal element to it. So doomcore, industrial, Pirate's Life for me, following a death rock, grim grinning ghosts, two very dark songs back to back. We needed something a little lighter. We needed something a little more optimistic, but I didn't want to go the route of pop punk again because it was already done. I did not double up. I did not repeat any one genre on this album. Just like in the Disney parks, just like the songs from the Disney parks, all of them are very unique. They are very their own thing. You know what I mean? Like Zippity Doodah does not sound like Grim Grinning Ghosts. They are just as iconic of one another, but they are not the same. Walking right down the middle of Main Street USA, and there's a great big beautiful tomorrow. Very, maybe not the most popular of Disney park songs, but most definitely like iconic. So taking a swing back up from the darkness, probably the most iconic Disney park song, It's a Small World After All. Now, It's a Small World was a little tricky because it's an optimistic song. It's an optimistic song. It's I don't know if I would really say the original is upbeat. I mean, yeah, one could say it's upbeat, but it's not like a upbeat, zippity doodah kind of vibe. It's definitely optimistic. It's, I don't really know how to put it into words, but it's a happy song. It's not a spooky song. It's not a scary song. It's a happy song. I didn't want to go happy song. We already did happy song. We did happy song with pop punk. There's a great big beautiful tomorrow. Ska came to my mind, maybe, possibly, but it didn't feel right. It almost felt too predictable. Anything too happy, any subgenre of punk rock that had a bit of glee to it felt too predictable. And again, I wanted these songs to be recognizable and a tribute to the original, but I didn't want it to be a predictable or novel tribute. So I went with a post-hardcore kind of vibe for It's a Small World. A very unifying post-hardcore song. Post-hardcore, think of bands like Thrice, maybe a little Coheed and Cambria-ish, a little, maybe like, it's not screamo, you know what I mean? And it's a very fine line with a lot of these bands that I'm rattling off. Let's say Finch, something like that, where it's post-hardcore, doesn't fall into like the screamo-y, emo-y kind of vibe, and it's not like tough guy, yelly hardcore. It's that weird space in the middle. kind of more along the pop-ish realm. Against Me maybe would be a good. Yeah, Against Me might be a good reference point. Very, very big, very unifying. Again, I love that one. I keep saying like that's all these songs are one of my favorite, but they're all my favorite Disney park songs to begin with, and I really feel like my take on each of these songs is a oh man, how do I put it? It's a very uniquely, it's a good counterpart to the original. You know what I mean? It's impossible to say it's an improvement upon the original, but it's definitely, I would say, a very good counterpart. You know what I mean? Equally as good, dare I say. But yeah, so post-hardcore, It's a Small World. From It's a Small World, it just made the most sense to me to swing around to the Tiki Room. Now, the Tiki Room was a little tricky because, you know, how do you embody the vibe of the Tiki Room without being cliche, again, novel, predictable? You know what I mean? Like, it's a very tropical sound, you know, the tiki room, very beachy, very island-esque. I wanted to kind of capture that in a way, but I wanted to stray away from a too much predictable kind of like surf beachy kind of tone. You know, I wanted to get away from the tropics. I didn't want it to have like I didn't want it to feel like a tropical song, because again, too predictable. So the route I went was something more ritual, if that makes any sense. I still wanted to keep almost a tribalness to the song without it being too tiki, you know, too island vibes. In my mind, again, went with like the ritualistic kind of voodoo-ish, maybe would be a good way to put it. Psychobilly came into mind, but Psychobilly was a little too fast. It was a little too upbeat almost. I didn't want it to be too, I didn't want it to have it, I didn't want the song to have too much of a upbeat island vibe, but I also wanted to stay true to that vibe enough to where the chorus of the tiki room still made sense. You know what I mean? It couldn't be another like beat down hardcore song, because you lose the ambiance of what the attraction is. So I went not death rock, but horror rock. Now, there is a very deep distinction between death rock and horror rock. While death rock is much more romantic, horror rock is a lot more spooky, if that makes sense. Now, you would think Grim Grinny Ghost, you want to go spooky, but I didn't want to go too spooky with that one. I wanted more of a an elegance to it. That's a good way to put it. Like a dark romantic elegance to Grim Grinning Ghost, to the Haunted Mansion. So when I think spooky tiki, it's definitely psychobilly-esque. But again, the psychobilly was a little too upbeat, it didn't fit. So going horror rock with it, I still was able to capture the chanty, dark, voodoo-esque vibe of it all, while avoiding the novelty. That one came out really, really cool too. Not necessarily my wife's favorite, but I deeply appreciate it. From there, Small World was a uplifting, a very unifying, uplifting sound. Tiki Room was a little more descent into something slightly darker. At this point, I started running out of iconic park songs. When you already nail the hits, like the most predictable and most recognizable hits, Grim Grinning Ghost, It's a Small World, Pirate's Life for Me, like those are already done. So I'm having to dig a little deeper in the bag of iconic Disney park songs. Very recently, very, very recently, they reimagined the Country Bears Jamboree. Now, the Country Bears Jamboree is an attraction that is currently only at Magic Kingdom, at least in the United States. It's only at Magic Kingdom. It was once at Disneyland as well. They got rid of it at Disneyland and replaced it with the Winnie the Pooh ride, but they still have it over at Magic Kingdom. And at Magic Kingdom, they had the original 1972 soundtrack of that attraction up until just maybe a couple years ago. They changed all the music in the Country Bear Jamboree attraction to being like country covers of iconic Disney songs from the Disney animated films. Very cool. I like it. It's a really cool attraction. Over on our Leo Legacy View YouTube channel, we have a POV experience of that attraction, so you should go check it out. Very cool. But none of those songs were Disney park specific. They're all songs now from Disney feature films. So that kind of, strayed away from the intention I had in doing this album. So I had to go backwards. I had to go a little bit backwards in time, and I had to tap into the original soundtrack from 1972 for the Country Bear Jamboree attraction. And there was one song that stood out above the rest as being almost too perfect for a cover album like this, a counterculture cover album. There was a song from the original Country Bears Jamboree called Blood on the Saddle. Now, the song is just as dark as the title implies. Now, this is probably the one song on this cover album where it's like, what is this? This is not a Disney song. I mean, the song is called Blood on the Saddle. The lyrics to the song are, again, just as gruesome as the title itself. But it, in fact, was a part of the original Country Bears Jamboree soundtrack. And let me tell you, that was probably the most fitting song for this concept. Conceptually, it fits almost too perfectly. So perfectly that, again, it just doesn't feel like it has any place at the Disney parks. It doesn't anymore, but it did originally. So with Blood on the Saddle, I went with a doomcore western version. And let me tell you, that one is vicious. It is such a vicious song. Like, and it's the original lyrics too. So when you hear that song, remember that played for families, kids, parents. Like it's a song that you had to sit through if you went on the Country Bears Jamboree up through like 2024. Insane. So that's 9 tracks in. My very helpful AI counterpart, Sprocket, that's what I call him. We brainstormed and decided that 10 tracks was the most optimal amount of songs. Like, it's not the longest of albums, but it's also too many songs to be like an EP. So we started with Walking Right Down the Middle of Main Street USA. That's entering into the parks. One Little Spark, not Disneyland or Magic Kingdom, but a ride. So we go into the entrance of a Disney park. We walk down the middle of Main Street USA. We start hitting the rides. One Little Spark from Journey into Imagination with Figment, Zippity Doodah from the original Splash Mountain. There's a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow from Carousel of Progress, Grim Grinning Ghost from Haunted Mansion, Yo-Ho, A Pirate's Life for Me from Pirates of the Caribbean, It's a Small World from It's a Small World, the Tiki 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 Room from Tiki, the Enchanted Tiki Room, Blood on the Saddle from the original Country Bears Jamboree, and that's a full park day. That's a full park day of rides, of fun, and how does every Disney park day end? Again, specifically more, I mean, kind of the majority of them. At least maybe with the exception of Animal Kingdom, there's some sort of like grand finale show at the end of every Disney park day. At Disney's Hollywood Studios, it's Fantasmic. At Epcot, they do fireworks and like some sort of like maybe water show over the middle lagoon area in the middle of the World Showcase. At California Adventure, something very similar. They have a water show. Disneyland has both fireworks and Fantasmic, and then Magic Kingdom, as of late, I think even still, their fireworks show is Happily Ever After, a personal favorite of my wife's. She loves the song from that fireworks show, Happily Ever After. So as a little tribute to her, and a way to close out this Disney Parks cover album, I wanted to close it out with fireworks. So I chose a song from the current fireworks show at Magic Kingdom, Happily Ever After, and I did a screamo version of that song. It's a duet, so male and female vocals, much as the original. The original has male and female vocals, so I wanted to hold true to that and have male and female vocals, and I went the screamo route, like Thursday. It's got kind of like a Paramore feel to it. Maybe a little bit Taking Back Sunday-ish, kinda-ish, maybe. But yeah, and that it's a grand finale, and it really wraps up the entire album. And I really think I nailed the whole vibe of spending a day at a Disney park and wrapping it with a finale that is just as grand as any fireworks show you would get at the parks. And there you have it, man. There you have it. That's what I've been preoccupied with over the last couple months. really focused on that. This kind of took on a life of its own. I got real deep into it. I got a whole bunch of imagery concocted to go with each song. So let's talk about how it's going to be put out. I didn't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? Like, it rides that fine line of copyright. So it's not something that I feel like I can sell and monetize, but I definitely want to put it out there. I want to put it out there as an album as well. So if you are following along at leolegacy.com, you'll notice that some of our recent blog posts are these songs. I started dropping some of these songs just kind of under the radar. Wasn't making too much of a big deal with it. I promoted it here and there. Specifically, I was releasing them on our Leo Legacy Music YouTube channel. And again, not making a whole big fuss about it, because I wanted to roll it out in its entirety. You know what I mean? I didn't just want to do like one song here, maybe a week or so later, do another one, and just kind of like not really put any sort of like substance to it. I really feel like it needed some explanation. I really feel like it needed some sort of I wanted to add a little heart to it, put a little meaning behind it. And that's what this is. So this is the official introductory podcast to the Counter Kingdom. And the next episode of the Leo Legacy podcast will be the album in its entirety. It won't be a podcast in the conventional sense where it's me talking. And I had an idea where I would just kind of like maybe give an introduction and talk about the song, play the song, talk about the next song, play the next song. But it would be too choppy. You know what I mean? I want to have I want to provide the ability to listen to the song or listen to the album from start to finish uninterrupted. So the next episode of this podcast is going to be just that. It's going to be the album in its entirety, uninterrupted, from track 1 to track 10, all the way through, and it's going to be just that. And you'll be able to listen to that over on the Leo Legacy Creative channel. I'm going to do the same or something similar to over on the Leo Legacy Music channel, where I'll put up a video where it's just start to finish the whole album. I'm also going to finish dropping all the songs as singles, so individuals, each song individually over on the Leo Legacy Music channel. And then I want to do a series of podcasts where I dive into each one of the songs specifically and do like a retrospective episode where we dive into everything you didn't know you wanted to know about each song individually, like the history of the song, who wrote it, when it was made, a little bit about the ride that it's or attraction that it's associated with, and we'll deep dive into each song individually. We'll play the original song, and then we'll play the cover. Maybe we won't play the original song. I don't know. It's still kind of like weird copyrighty things in there, but you know, at the very least, we'll do retrospective episodes of each song with my version of each song embedded into the podcast episode. So that's what I've been working on. That's pretty much what's going to be the focal point of all things Leo Legacy going forward. I even had an idea of doing some Legacy by Leo drops. So over on our merch store, I think I want to do designs that accompany each song. Maybe I'll do one design that's an overall the Counter Kingdom a Counter Kingdom shirt, and then a walking right down the middle of Main Street shirt, a One Little Spark shirt, a Zippity Doodah shirt or design or whatever. And that'll be the next line drop for Legacy by Leal. Yeah, I'm pretty hyped on this. It's something that was just like a random little idea that ultimately took on a life of its own. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoy it. I really enjoy it. I really enjoyed doing it. I really enjoyed putting it together. It's something that I'm very proud to have in the Leal Legacy creative lexicon. Like, it's going to live within the Leal Legacy lexicon forever. And then I have some interesting follow-up ideas. So I figured out what I want to do with Leal Legacy music and the path I want to take, at least for the foreseeable future. And again, out there, folks, anybody who's like anti-AI creation, sorry. I enjoy it. I have fun doing it. I'm not pretending I'm a musician. I'm not pretending that I'm some sort of talent. I just think this is fun. I just think it's fun, and I think it's cool, and I think it's good. I think it's good. Hopefully you think it's good too. So keep up with it. Keep up with leallegacy.com. Keep a lookout for all the upcoming podcasts, especially the next episode on the Leal Legacy podcast channel, where it is the full the Counter Kingdom album in its entirety. Give it a listen. Give me your feedback. If it's negative feedback, I don't know. You can keep it to yourself. I just, I won't care. But let me know if you like it. Let me know what you think of each song individually. Let me know what your favorite song off the album is. And yeah. I'm gonna have a good time figuring out how to make this live. And it really kind of just became like a whole just, I don't know, I don't want to say like a promotional thing for Leal Legacy, but it's a crossover project for sure. Like I said, I want to do some corresponding shirts. It's going to have a series of podcasts, and then it lives over in like video kind of forms over on the Leal Legacy music channel on YouTube. So yeah, good stuff. Sorry, I'm out of practice of podcasting, but it had to be done. This was the rollout introduction episode. Yeah, I got to get back into practice. I hope this is entertaining enough. It wasn't super comical, it wasn't super funny, but hopefully it was a fun little insight, a little journey into my imagination. Anyway, leallegacy.com. Go there, scope out everything we're doing. Subscribe to our various YouTube channels. We got Leal Legacy Creative. We have our vlog channel, Legacy of Leal. We have our POV channel, Leal Legacy View, and of course Leal Legacy Music, where you can find all of the songs individually, plus it will have the album in its entirety there as well. Social media, everywhere in social media is Leal Legacy. Yeah. Oh, and Leal Legacy Gaming, if you want to watch my son Bane play through various video games, that's an option too. So all things Leal Legacy at leallegacy.com, Leal legacy.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for taking the time. Again, hope you enjoy it all. And as always, thanks for being a friend, telling a friend, and Legacy by Leal. I forgot how I'm able to make money off doing this. Legacy by Leal. Go to our store, leallegacy.com, click the shop tab, go pick yourself up something cool, lots of Disney-esque designs in there for all you Diz nerds out there. Check out our LLFC line, our Leal Legacy Fighters collection. If you are a jiu-jitsu practitioner or a combat sports enthusiast, we got a bunch of cool designs there for you. We don't only cater to Disney fans. We cater to anybody who has a shared interest with me, be it martial arts, combat sports, skating, Disney, I don't know, just things I think are cool. But if you're a like-minded person and you find those things to be cool, then you're a cool person too, and we can be friends. But anyway, leolegacy.com. Thanks again. Until next time, hope you enjoyed the album. See ya.
Legacy Club!